Her triumphs. I took a group of women that didn't believe in themselves, and I just believed in them. Her trials.
I never wanted to go to practice. I was losing a ton of weight.
Her story.
I just put my faith in God and just trusted the system.
Her why.
I want people to see what I did and say, oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to be better than that. That would be how I hope that this journey ends.
This is Her Why, where we tell the stories from BYU women's sports. Here is your host, Lauren McLean.
We're so glad you've joined us for Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. And joining us now is BYU women's volleyball head coach, Heather Olmstead. Thanks so much for being here with me, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Heather, this is your 10th season with BYU as head coach, and you were an assistant coach for a few years before that. What do you remember about that decision to leave the University of Utah as an assistant to come be an assistant under your brother, Sean?
Yeah, that seems like a long time ago. I can't believe, first of all, it's going to be 10 seasons as a head coach. That went by pretty quick. But looking back to that 2011 season, just so grateful. I remember Sean having conversations with me about what his vision was for BYU and what he wanted to accomplish and why he felt like I was a good fit. And obviously, being my brother, we knew each other well. But as far as the coaching landscape and those conversations, hadn't had a ton of them because we were competing against each other very ferociously, with rival schools. And that was fun. But so I just remember, believing in his vision and getting excited. I knew the athletes that they had because I had been recruiting them and I'd been told no quite a few times up at the school I was at. And so knew what kind of athletes he was getting, knew his ability as a coach, his character. And I just remember coming down and walking in that first meeting. And when I walked in and Sean was like, hey, I'm going to tell you who I hired. And it was just like, I knew all the girls. They couldn't believe it. They were screaming. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool moment. And we just took off from there, but that was a rough season. I mean, we didn't make the tournament. We probably missed it by one match or two, but the building that Sean, the foundation that he put down for 11, I mean, the program has skyrocketed since then.
Yes, and 10 years ago, Sean moved to the men's side. You took over the women's program. What do you remember about that time specifically 10 years ago? Yeah,
I remember thinking, are you kidding me? You're going to go coach the men? That's not what we talked about.
Yeah, this wasn't part of the plan.
No, and so never had I even imagined, I thought, Sean was going to retire as the women's coach. So never even daydreamed about the possibilities of one day this or I loved being an assistant coach. I loved the role that I was able to play. When the opportunity came where that was, decisions were being made, it was something that, I was very prayerful about and had to make sure that it was the right thing for me. And, here we are.
Wow. So that wasn't something you were even, did you think one day I do want to be a head coach?
Well, yeah, I had applied for a couple jobs. I'd been offered a couple and turned a couple down. So that wasn't what I had never daydreamed about was head coaching. I didn't know exactly my path but it was the BYU, having your brother be the head coach and wanting to support him and help him fulfill his dreams. And we'd gone to the finals the year before in 2014. And so I'm thinking, here we go. Like we can be special again. And then that, obviously opportunity for him came along. And so it was an opportunity for me. And I feel very strongly that when you do things in the right way for the right reasons, you're going to be blessed in certain ways. And I think that was what I was supposed to do. And, I feel grateful for the opportunity and all the support from admin down to players for being at BYU. And those players that year in 15, I was super blessed to have the players be all in. They were players I had recruited. And so I think the transition was as smooth as it could be, Sean going to the men and me taking over. And that was nice.
It obviously worked out for everyone involved because you hold the highest winning percentage of any women's volleyball program in NCAA Division I history. How do you maintain such a high level of performance year after year? Because you mentioned your brother kind of laid that foundation, then you take over, but for 10 years, that's a long time. So obviously you're doing something right.
Yeah, I think, again, I was very blessed with number one, a great staff. And that's super important that you have staff members that back you up and that are able to uphold the standards and the culture and the expectations of your program. And now Dave Height and Daniel Jones, and they just are super supportive, and Haley Rogers at Ardovo. But we've had multiple players over the year, but that first year, we had Alexa Gray, Ronnie Jones-Perry, Lindy and Lacey Haddock that were freshmen, Emily Lewis, and they were all in. And there was a bunch of seniors that took us to the Sweet 16 and won the conference when people weren't really sure what we were going to do. And so that calmed my nerves a little bit, that it's about the players. It's about having the athletes and then coaching them up. And I knew we were going to have the players year after year. So it was exciting to see what we could do. And so those players really, I credit a lot to just helping me, get my footing and be confident what I was doing.
Yeah. Is there some pressure that comes with those accolades?
Well, I think that, pressure is a privilege, like everyone says, and expectations at BYU are just what they are. And they're high performance standards as far as academic, athletics, spiritually, socially. Like, the standards are high. So if you're going to come here, you're going to coach here, you know what you're getting. And so I think the opportunity to be great is something that's exciting, and to be able to just help these student athletes reach the levels that they want, help them utilize the tools that are here, the resources that are here. It's amazing what people in all areas want to help, from nutrition to our mental strength coaches to our conditioning to our weights and then the coaches. And it's just really cool. So I think it comes with the territory of wanting to be a great program. And I think if you can get excited about it and look at it as an opportunity to be great and to learn something about yourself and about how far you can push yourself and how hard you can go, I think it's going to do good things for these players as they graduate from BYU, have careers, have families, and interact with people all over the world.
You're one of the best, and lots of schools are looking for the best. And like you mentioned, you've had some other opportunities, but thus far, what is it about BYU that's made you want to stick around here? Yeah,
I love BYU. I love the opportunity we have to work with young women and help them grow spiritually, athletically, holistically, and have those conversations and be able to have those spiritual conversations about some of the things in life that we believe are important and what things matters most, and have those conversations off to the side that aren't volleyball related. I think that's special. You don't get that at every university. And then to see the young women just grow and develop in areas when they graduate, and to get text messages from them and what they're doing in their life and with their families and different things. That's where you get the payback. I think it's hard to see in the moment when you're coaching them up and you're holding them accountable and you're trying to win, just how much you're learning and how much growth you've had in the struggle. And it's moments after where you can take a deep breath and reflect. And I think for me, the women that we get to be around, the staff, the administration, that's why BYU is so special, and why I think it's a winning program. And the tradition started with Elaine Michaelis. She laid a foundation of a lot more wins than me. She has over, I think, 800 or 900. It's like, when you look at my staff and myself's wins, it's nothing compared to the total win percentage. We're number 2 in the country for all-time wins at BYU, and it's incredible. So a lot of coaches before me have laid the foundation, and it's just a very special place because of the student athletes.
Right. You recently led the USA U21 team to a gold medal in the NORCECA Championship. What was that experience like for you? Yeah,
it was super cool. I've been involved with USA for 10 years, so 2015 was my first year, and I've had the chance to coach some head teams, but for the collegiate national team, so I wasn't really competing internationally, and then I've been an assistant coach for some head coaches for USA. So this is my first chance to take an age group, which was the U21, like you mentioned, and be a head coach, and to assemble a group of 20 young women and a staff, some coaches from all over the country. I had Alex Dunphy, who was at Stanford, and Jalen Reyes, who's at Nebraska, who's a Cougar, Virginia, who's at USC, and some other staff members that were really helpful and supportive, come together in a short amount of time in 2 weeks and go do something really special and compete against some of the best age group teams in the NORCECA area. And it was challenging. It's challenging when you don't know anybody, you don't know the players, you don't know your staff very well. And then you're held to a standard that's USA Volleyball, that's separate from BYU, that's separate from your own. Yeah. Now you're wearing the USA flag, and you're held to a different standard and expectations, and everyone's watching you for a different reason, and you're a BYU coach. That's pretty fun.
Whoa.
It's pretty fun.
Whoa.
It's pretty fun.
That's insane. Did you think your team was going to make it to the gold medal match?
Oh, yeah.
Win it?
We played super well. I didn't know. You don't know till you get there the talent of the other teams. Some summers maybe one of their best players isn't playing, or there's injuries. Yeah. So you don't exactly know. You don't have to turn in a roster till the night before you start playing. So no one's able to scout. So you play your first match. We played against Dominican Republic. We didn't know who we were going to play. They didn't know who we were going to play. And so you just go at it with, okay, let's be the best we can be. Let's have good energy. Let's play our system, which is, serve and pass clean, swing high and hard. Let's defend as best we can, run our offense, and then you go from there. So we were playing pretty well. We went 3-0 in pool play, and then we ended up playing two teams again in the semis and finals that we'd already played in pool play, just the way it shook out. We were expecting to see some other teams and they got knocked out.
Yeah.
So played the Dominican again in the semis and then Puerto Rico in the finals, who both those teams were in pool play. So we had a comfort level and we played really well.
That's got to take a little bit of pressure off you to not have to worry about the other opponent, right? You just have to worry about your own team. That's nice.
It was unique, and just the caliber of athletes that were playing with our U21 team and how special they are, and they play at such a high level. They take care of business. They represent USA. They want to be the best, and so there really isn't a lot of poking and prodding from our staff. They literally want to be future Olympians, and the standards are high for them, and so it's a really fun opportunity to coach with USA.
You mentioned that you'd been an assistant coach before. How did it come about that you became the head coach of this team?
Yeah, just the opportunity to be around Coach Karai and his staff, and to have him know me and see me, and you just wait for the call. You never know. You can't petition for it. You can't put your name in for it. It's something that USA is watching, and they have their list of coaches that knows the USA system as far as how they won offense and defense, and then culturally. And I'm lucky enough to be in the mix where Karch has asked me to come back, year after year. I haven't done it every year for the past 10 years, but I've done it quite a few years. And this year was one of the more special ones, just because I did have an opportunity to be a head coach.
What was one of your favorite moments from competing in Canada?
Oh gosh. Well, my sister gets mad at me, my twin sister Nicole, because she was like, well, you guys won and you didn't even react. You were just so like, what happened there? Yeah. And I was like, oh, shoot. I didn't know if we got the kill or the point. We killed the ball and they chased it down. And it's one of those where like, is it coming over? Is it not coming over?
Yeah.
And they didn't get it back over. And then our team celebrated. And then I felt it was like a delayed reaction. So my sister was getting on me about that, but I really was excited. And then we celebrated and it was really cool. So I think winning as a team and staff, and just really the celebration after NORCECA does is so good. They give you your medals and you get the gold, silver, and bronze, and then you get the trophies for all tournament, and they give those out. And just taking pictures and reflecting back on the 2 weeks that some of these players didn't even know each other. They don't know very much about them, and to see them come together for 2 weeks in general, for me, is a highlight of coaching USA, and for me to get to know them and their cultures and different programs and what they're doing, and I learn from them, and hopefully they learn from me. And so I'd say winning was a fun moment, but also just seeing our growth over those 2 weeks. It was pretty fast.
That's really cool. And hey, what's your family for if not to point out your flaws?
Oh my gosh. I was like, seriously, wrong, right? How about you just tell me good job? Like, proud of you. No, it was I regret that. I regret not jumping up and down like we'd won the national championship, but there it is.
What do you do? What are some of the things you feel like you learned from this experience that you can take here to BYU and your players? Yeah,
I just think the USA is such a class act organization, and so from the beginning, just they do things the right way, and so they're professional in everything that they do, and the players are professional, and I think they also are able to have fun and understand that these players, do want to have fun, and they do want to get better, and they do want to learn, and they're there, in the USA gym for different reasons, and so trying to sprinkle a little bit of that in with, how can we be more classy organization, as we're in the Big 12 and as we're doing things a little bit different. Like, what does that look like that we haven't been doing? Is there something we can be doing better? Is it taking care of our bodies? Is it using a certain system? We're doing some different things with load management and trying to pick their brains about what they're doing for load and conditioning, those type of things where you're always trying to evolve as a coach and make sure you're up with what other organizations are doing. And there's none better than the USA. We've got a silver medal in Paris, and that was exciting. And so I think some of those ideas that we get to bring back, whether it's drills or scouting techniques, I've brought some things back that I saw USA doing scouting that might give us, a little edge. I don't know if it gives you 1 point or it doesn't give you a point in a match, but it's something that can maybe keep it simple for our players as we go throughout the season in preparation and prepare for matches.
I love that. Do you feel like being the head coach of the U21 team helps in recruiting?
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity, not only that, but just talking about Mary Lake playing with the USA VNL team in 2019. Ronnie Jones-Perry is playing with the Pan Am Cup in a couple weeks. That should be getting announced. I think it starts next week. So Ronnie's still in the USA system. Heather Knighting's been in the USA system. Alexa Gray's playing with Canada, right? Yeah. Just barely missed the Olympics. I got to see her last week, get to talk to her. And she's been playing pro for 10 years. And so having players not only have played in the USA and are playing pro that maybe aren't playing USA, I think is good for athletes all over the country to know, hey, we're going to support you in your dreams. We want you to dream big, and whatever they are, we want to catch those dreams for you, to share with us what those dreams are, and then we're going to help you, and we're going to help you realize how to use your resources and how to get the max out of your experience here at BYU. But we're going to coach you up and train you, and that's one of our things that we're proud of is the way that we train players and the way that they come this way and they leave that way. And that's something we're really proud of.
It really is an incredible program. You guys finished third in the Big 12 last year. When you're used to finishing first or second, but third ain't bad.
It's good for us.
You started out 13-1 before losing 2 straight matches to eventual national champs Texas. How much tougher was this league?
Yeah. Well, I love the West Coast Conference, and the first year Sean was coaching in 2011, they voted us 6th and we finished 3rd. Then the second year in 2012, they voted us 3rd and we finished 1st. So if trends continue, I don't know. I let the girls know, voting and all these preseason awards are great, but we talk about so what, now what are we going to do about it? What do we want to accomplish? Nobody's done anything until you've gotten on the court, and it's about performing, and it's about figuring out your passion and your why throughout the season, a 4-month grind. And so it's hard to say. I love the West Coast Conference, but the Big 12 was exciting. It was a good opportunity to play new teams, new venues, new cities, new players, new coaches. We didn't know their styles, and I thought we did a really good job. We were not sure what we didn't know, and so we went in with that attitude, but we wanted to figure it out pretty quick. And we lost some matches where it was pretty shocking. We went to a couple venues and didn't play well, and that wasn't something that our team was totally comfortable with or used to. And I think you need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And so we talked a lot about that. And I think we were able to have a really good season in the Big 12 and play in the NCAA tournament and host at home. And I thought it was a fantastic season. And there was a lot of growth throughout the season. And for our first team to compete in the Big 12, I'm really proud of that group.
Are there any, because you guys had 6 or 7 losses come against top 10 teams.
Yep.
Are there any matches that come to mind that specifically as kind of defining moments for your team?
We went on the road and played 2 tough road matches against Texas, which we knew would be tough, and they were great, obviously eventually winning the national championship. We went on the road and played some tough matches in Kansas State, and then came home and regrouped, and then just challenged ourselves to be better on the road. And just let's be better. Let's prepare better. Let's be more professional. Let's be more aware. We understand that the gyms are going to be sold out. There was bands. There was people screaming. Yeah, every facility almost was sold out. What people
very different from the WCC.
Yeah,
in that regard.
But people are used to that when they come play here at Smith Fieldhouse. We're excited about it, and we haven't really been used to receiving that on the end when we travel, and so that was different. And so we took that as a challenge after a couple tough road trips, and we regrouped, and we were able to go out to Florida, and we had a long week there, 2 back-to-back matches, and we played really well out in Florida. And that was kind of the spark of the last quarter of our season, where we played well on the road. We're able to go on the road and win a couple key conference matches in West Virginia and TCU at the end of the year that helped us get seeded. And so I'd say a couple of those losses for sure turned our awareness to how can we be better. Yeah. And this is real life in the Big 12 on the road and at home. It's not easy.
Are there any adjustments or changes in the team's playing style or strategy that you're going to adjust that that you saw your team do last season, now that the Big 12 team's a little bit better, that you're going to do this season?
Just when we thought we knew and got the hang of things, they added 4 more teams, and it's like then 2 teams left and they added 4 more teams and you don't know anything anymore. And so I think we learned a lot and we're more comfortable, but we're still going places that we haven't played yet. We haven't played at Iowa State. We still haven't played at Baylor, and they're coming here. We haven't played at Texas Tech. They're coming here again. We're going to Houston. We haven't played there. So there's still newness to it, but we're not going to use that as an excuse because we get it now. And we're ready to play anytime, any place. And we know every team's good. Every coach is good. And so we're going to take it day by day, match by match, and we're going to get excited for those. I mean, you just can't look too far ahead to any team or any opponent because the one right in front of you is going to smack you in the face, and we got to be ready for our opener, our very first home game.
And speaking of one of those teams that is coming to the Big 12, let's talk about the loss you guys had against Arizona State at home in the NCAA tournament. Now that you're a few months removed from it, what do you think happened in that match, looking back? Yeah,
I think they played a great match. They played, I don't know if they'd say it was one of their better matches of the year, but I sure think so. I thought they served and passed extremely well, and we really couldn't slow down their offense. And so I think if you're going to let a team be really good offensively, you better be better offensively than them, and that wasn't the case for us that night. And so they were really good. They were on their game, and if you're not going to be on your game in the tournament, it's going to be hard to win. And so, that was disappointing, and it didn't take away from the year that we had, but the opportunity to play them in the Big 12 is exciting because now they're in our conference, which is crazy.
Redemption.
Yeah.
You have to do this year in and year out because seniors leave, obviously. How hard was it for you to say goodbye to those seniors after that game?
Yeah, I think every year, my first, let's see, so the first group I was talking about in 2015 that were freshmen, Ronnie and Lindy and Danelle, and I'm going to forget them all, but they were seniors in 2018, and we really had a bond. And there's other seniors before that I realized was hard to say goodbye to as well. But it was, once I started to do it over and over and over again, I'm like, I have to keep doing this. I have to keep saying goodbye. And then we went to the Final Four in 18, and you got to start all over again. And so I started realizing this is never easier. These are like your kids. Yeah. You're saying goodbye to your kids, but you get new ones and you get younger ones that bodies are fresher and maybe, it's fun. But no, I'm joking. It's hard. Whitney Bauer had been with me for 5 years. Whitney Lernis had been for me with 6. We had Aria on and on. And so it's never easy, but it's so exciting to see what they're going to go do with their lives. And they're ready. They're ready for their moment to move on. And they've given you everything that you've asked of them. And they've got, you talk about my wins, but you add up their wins, 6 years, 5 years here. How many wins do those kids have? Not just on the win-loss column, but in life, their degrees, graduating with a master's, Whitney Lernis, and a degree and just, saving, learning about resources and learning how to go fly and spread their wings. So that's what I'm most proud of. Yeah. And then you keep in touch. And, I've been texting a little bit with Whitney Bauer, and, we're just laughing at how much it's different without her here. And I'm wishing her well, and she's wishing us well. And it's fun because you have those people in your life forever.
So cool. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Coach Olmstead will give us an inside look into the 2024-25 season. This is her why. Hey everyone, it's Lauren McLean. If you're anything like me and can't seem to get enough of BYU athletes or the inspiring things they're doing, check out the Deep Blue podcast. Host Jason Shepard sits down with the Cougs' most beloved coaches and athletes, diving deep into their triumphs, failures, and lives. Each episode offers a unique behind-the-scenes look at the personal stories that have shaped these incredible individuals, from their early beginnings to their standout moments on and off the field. You'll hear about their faith, their families, and the lessons they've learned along the way, making it easier to cheer for them not only as athletes, but as human beings. Deep Blue is about much more than just sports. It's about life, resilience, and the journey that makes each athlete and coach a true Cougar. Whether you're a diehard BYU fan or just love a good story, Deep Blue has something for you. So don't miss out. Listen to Deep Blue on the BYU Radio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Welcome back to Her Why. I'm Lauren McLean with BYU women's volleyball head coach Heather Olmstead. Before we dive into the season, I'm going to ask you a few fun questions about yourself, okay? What's on your playlist to get pumped up or to relax after a tough game?
Oh, I'm so bad with music. This is such a bad question. My players make fun of me. No, I don't have Apple Music, or I don't pay for Spotify or Pandora.
Are you just silence? Are you a silence?
So I like Sirius XM radio. So I'll listen to radio, whatever those are.
Heather, you're not that old. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. I just don't have. I'm in my thoughts a lot, and so I like to watch film. I like to call some of my family and mentors, and for sure, if we have a win, I like to celebrate and I like to have dessert. But music's not really my jam. I mean, I like it, but I don't know.
Yeah. That's all right. You got too much on your mind.
I like country.
I get that.
I like country.
I'm with you on that. Do you have any hidden talents or hobbies that your players might be surprised to learn about?
I can juggle. I just shared that on our social media. So I can juggle, and that's about as hidden talent as I get. I can't sing. I don't have rhythm. So anytime we dance or try to do some sort of trend or TikTok, it's kind of funny. So not my thing. But other than that, juggling's probably my best hidden talent.
Okay, that's a good one. After a big win, what's your favorite way to celebrate?
Yeah, well, dessert.
Dessert?
So, family, friends, go get dessert. Never afraid to go get something to celebrate and just be grateful. And I think winning is really hard. And so I've appreciated that more and more as I've coached longer. And it's just really hard to win. And so I've had some special teams every year, special, and every win I think is pretty special.
Celebrate every victory.
Yeah.
Volleyball often takes you to different places. Do you have a favorite city or venue that you love to play in the most?
So I played professionally in Croatia, and I've played with some long time ago, some teams there, and I love playing our team. We took our team on a foreign trip last summer and got to play international volleyball, and I think anytime you play it's just a different style of playing different gyms.
Yeah.
It's exciting and it's different. It's not like the NCAA collegiate style and gym, and the ball is different. But gosh, I don't know. I just love the Smith Fieldhouse. Can it be the Smith Fieldhouse?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love the Smith Fieldhouse. But I do. There's some fun places. We had a good time last year in Florida, and every gym was rocking that we went in. Like I said, it was just rocking and exciting. And when I was a player, I loved to play at UCSB, and that was fun because I'm from Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
So going home to my hometown is always a fun thing. Anytime you're in California, you have family come. So,
Do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions that you do before every match?
I have a pretty solid routine, whether at home on the road, and just has to do with some meditation, exercising, taking time for myself, getting with my staff, going over plans. But other than that, meet with the team, say a quick prayer, and get out on the warm-up floor.
Just do it.
Yeah.
All right, you've gotten a feel for Big 12 play so far. So what are you most looking forward to this season?
I think going places we haven't been yet, getting to Iowa State, going to Houston, places that we haven't seen yet. I think that's exciting. Obviously, we get to go to Arizona State, Arizona, and up north. So I think that's exciting for us to still have some newness, but also some familiarity with the teams that we're playing in the Big 12. I think just the opportunity to see how good this group can get in another season in the Big 12, year number 2, is exciting for this whole group.
Well, you were voted number 2 in the preseason poll. How do the preseason rankings affect you guys and the players, or do you guys even really talk about it?
Yeah, we address it. And we chat about that the coaches voted, and that's how it came out. And we chat about that the only expectations we have is showing up in the standards in the gym of working hard and going after it and staying in the present and staying focused on our task, and the rest will take care of itself. The outcome will come, and we just have to stay focused on what this group of young women can do this year. And we gotta block out all the noise, and that includes rankings and preseason stuff, and just any sort of pressure from social media or what people are saying about us. And we talk about it, but there's just so much nowadays that you can find on the internet so quickly and so fast that it's something you do have to pay attention to and really get the players to buy in that the only opinions they should care about is themselves and their coaches and teammates who are with them every day in the grind. It's like we're the ones in the arena. So let's talk to each other about the things that matter most, and let's try to block out the noise in other areas.
I love that. You have a good group of returners, and you brought in the 9th ranked recruiting class this year, including several top 100 recruits. What impact do you expect these newcomers to have on your team this year?
Yeah, I think the opportunities are endless for everyone to have an impact on our team. And so whether that's going to be a freshman from our new class, or we've got a transfer and a kid who's played 4 years at St. Mary's and shares strong, we're excited about that. And then these freshmen and sprinkle in. Kai is a sophomore transfer from up north. And so it's not just the freshmen. There's some players that have played at other programs that are going to help impact us with experience, and I think that's good. And then, of course, the core group, of our juniors and seniors that want to make an impact on our team, that are leading our team, that are the ones speaking up and helping the coaches lead. I think every single person's going to have a chance to impact the team and the culture on and off the court. And we're hoping that everybody brings their best, every day. And so far, we've seen that in practices. It's been really exciting.
BYU is just a few wins away from overtaking UCLA on the all-time NCAA wins list. How significant would it be for the program to reach that milestone?
Yeah, again, credit to Elaine Michaelis. How many of those does she have? 800, 900? I don't know if we have that stat. But, when you think about wins and coaches and the head coaches that have been at BYU, we're all just a sliver. I'm a sliver compared to what Elaine Michaelis has done. So, holy cow. She is just incredible, and what she's done for this program and the tradition. And so it would just be a tribute to all the players and all the coaches that have been at BYU. Whether that happens or not, I think, we're just striving to be the best versions of ourselves, and we want the best players that want to be at BYU and want to represent BYU. And we've been able to attract that talent, and that's really a credit to the players. The winning tradition is all about the players and the culture and how BYU holds themselves and the standard that we hold them to as well. But they know what they're getting into when they come here, and they toe the line every time. It's really cool.
You've been talking about some of the girls that have made it to the next level. Erin Livingston, Whitney Bauer, who was the 9th overall pick, had outstanding seasons last year, now playing pro. Erin, I think, is with the Vegas Thrill, Whitney with the Atlanta Vibe. What's it like seeing them playing at the next level?
Oh, my gosh. So I've been able to watch a lot of my former players internationally, and I'm figuring out, okay, if I text Alexa, she's in Turkey, and I'm texting Heather and she's in Turkey, what time is it? okay, now I can text Whit in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
2 hours ahead, and Mai and Aaron an hour behind. And so Mary's going to play with Salt Lake Love. Ronnie's going to play with Salt Lake Love. I can't tell you the joy it brings me that Alohi, I think she's playing overseas, maybe in France, Robbins Hardy, which she was a huge part of our run in 14. The list goes on. I think we had 9 players in spring that were playing professional, which is the most we've ever had at BYU Volleyball. And it's a credit to the players and then these 2 leagues in the U.S. that's going to allow them to stay in the United States of America and to have the opportunity to play professional volleyball. And the sport is just growing extremely fast, and to be able to stay home and play and have your family watch and have an experience that's not overseas, which is a great experience. I'm excited for the future of volleyball, for all the players playing this coming season, to go watch them and to support them. And I'm here for anything they need. It's super cool.
Yeah. What do you think that organization that's now in the United States means for the future of women's volleyball?
Yeah, it means young women, young girls, I just got the chills, that are 6, 7, 8, 9 years old can dream about staying home and playing in the United States of America. We have one of the best organizations in USA Volleyball, and we have players all over the world because we haven't had any leagues in the U.S., so they go out of the country and all over the world to play. And now, if we can keep some of our young women at home and bring others internationally also from outside into the U.S. to keep that brand up and to keep the level really high, I think it's exciting that just for the younger generation to know they can stay home and that they can have role models to look at. And in some of these players, our players and other players, they're going to say, I want to be like Mary Lake, and I can play in the U.S. and I don't have to fly halfway around the world. You know, if they want to, that's great. You know, Alexa still chose to play in Turkey this next year rather than come back to the U.S. and good for her, rightfully so. She should. Yeah. She's got a 10-year career. She's got things moving and she's doing a good job. And so super proud of her and whatever decisions they make. I just think it's good for the sport and for the young women that are dreaming about playing at the next level.
Heck, I want to be like Mary Lake.
I know,
Love
right?
that girl.
I know.
All right, let's look forward to this season a little bit. Kate Pryor, Eden Bauer, and some other underclassmen played significant roles last year. How do you see their roles expanding this season? Yeah,
opportunities are endless as far as stepping up and taking control of the team, and really they are with our team culture and with how we play. They've been here long enough to know, seniors and Elise and Alyssa and Kalia and, KJ, they know how we act, how we talk, how we interact, and then the junior class they understand, and so they get this sense of urgency, like, hey, I got a year left, I got 2 years left, and they really start to up the level of okay, this is what it looks like. I'm now a leader and not so much a follower, and I think that's exciting because that'll show in their play and their eagerness to get on the court and to compete and to lead this team. And so we expect them to come in every day and do their very best and work hard, and I'm excited to see how they develop throughout the year as far as players and people.
You're heading into your 10th season, as we mentioned, as the BYU women's head volleyball coach. How has your coaching style changed from year 1 to year 10?
That's a good question. The longer I coach, the more I realize I don't know very much of anything. So the longer I'm doing this, the more I want to learn and try to be better and try to take deep breaths and try to just have fun and realize, looking back in 10 years, I don't want to regret not really realizing how special what we're doing here with these student athletes is and the impact we have on their life, not just the volleyball, but the interactions we get to have with them on a daily basis to help them and mentor them. And so I think every year is special because I'm learning more about, the human beings that are coming through campus and these women that we get to be around. And so the Big 12 has been good for us just to reinvent ourselves. We have the blueprint for how we want to play and what we want to do. And like you mentioned, what we were doing, what got us there isn't going to get us here. And so we're used to winning, and playing at a high level on the West Coast. And then, we've got to make sure that we uphold those standards and we keep upping our game and upping, how we're going to reinvent ourselves, but not doing it out of our comfort zone. Like, let's still be us. We're going to be us. We're never not going to be BYU. And I think the players just do a great job. They want to be great. And, so that's a good question, and hopefully I'm better each day, and I'm more humble and more willing to learn and have a growth mindset, but also grateful for just what it is that we're accomplishing here, because it really is incredible, and it's not just all about the wins.
Right. We're talking with Heather Olmstead, head coach for the BYU women's volleyball team. Heather, you are incredible. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, and good luck this season.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks to Annie Robinson and Sydney Simpson for producing this episode with senior producer Cleon Wall. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.